Let's start by asking ourselves a simple question, a very simple question. How would the DP Ruto camp benefit from having banners distributed all over Nairobi advertising DP Ruto for president? What would they have to gain exactly? I mean, really think very deeply about it. Maybe you can educate me. Maybe you can tell me in the comments area of this video what the DP Ruto camp would gain from the activities of yesterday, a few hours ago. And then let's move to the other side. What would the Kitaeleweka group, the handshake team, have to gain from the stunt of yesterday? Well, as far as cornering DP Ruto, a lot. Number one, President Uhuru Kenyatta is on record as having said very clearly that those who go around on weekends at funerals and all over the place, the team Tanga Tanga, should find something else to do on weekends. Bottom line, no early campaigns for 2022. So what do we have here? A very direct and public defying of the president's orders. Very clear evidence of the DP Ruto camp defying the president, going against the president, the deputy president defying his boss, the president. Very strong points of argument in any possible impeachment. And if you look carefully, it looks very well choreographed. Francis Atwoli, the boss of Kotu, comes out and says DP Ruto will not be on the ballot in 2022. Now, Atwoli may be a loose cannon. He may stand up and say many crazy things. However, it is also true that Atwoli is a very crafty political schemer and political player. And the most obvious evidence is how he has remained at the helm of Kotu all these years. You'd think Kotu is his personal property. Oh yes. There is no way he would have managed to achieve that without being a very crafty and competent political player. Now the latest is that Atwoli has said, contrary to what some people are saying, he did not say DP Ruto would be dead. And therefore, he does not deserve the Mganga tag. He does not deserve to be called a Mganga. He didn't predict anybody's death. What he was saying is that DP Ruto's name will not be on the ballot. Now, next in these events that I strongly believed were choreographed, organized, planned carefully, is the fact that some MPs have just come out and demanded an investigation into the wealth of the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. They say his income all along, since he joined politics, is known. And therefore it will be very easy to do the math, to do the calculations, and come up with a lifestyle audit, that will prove, that the Deputy President's wealth is ill-gotten. That's the whole objective. Now let us understand something very important. Such an audit, such a move being successful, can open the door to prosecution of the Deputy President. It can open the door very widely for a successful impeachment. Ever since 2 ICC indicted suspects were successfully able to vie for high office in Kenya, people have forgotten, people have trashed a very key, important part of the Constitution, the famous Chapter 6. Now, last time I checked, this section is still intact, it's still in the Constitution, whether Kenyans have forgotten and ignored it or not. The long and short of Chapter 6 is that it talks about the qualifications, the moral qualifications of anybody who wants to vie for a political position in Kenya, let alone high office. And so, if one were to put a successful correction, and so, the long and short of what I'm trying to get across is that if somebody were to have a successful lifestyle audit, that was able to prove conclusively that Deputy President William Ruto did not gain his wealth, in any other way but corrupt means. And put this lifestyle audit right next to Chapter 6. DP Ruto would be gone before midday. Maybe even very early in the morning. Now, of course, I'm not perfect. Of course, I make mistakes sometimes. So it is very possible that this issue of banners and posters of the Deputy President for 2022 all over Nairobi were a very serious blunder of the DP Ruto camp. It was an emotional response from the DP Ruto camp. And if that is true, then it was a fatal mistake. But believing such a story too quickly would be insulting the intelligence of the Deputy President's camp. Now, please get me right. I have not suddenly turned into a DP Ruto supporter. I am not, and I will never support the Deputy President. However, I tell the truth on this channel. And my current truth, based on the information I have, is that actually this move was executed by the Deputy President's enemies. And I hope I have shown you very clearly the many advantages those enemies of the Deputy President will have, after executing this scheme, or from executing this particular scheme. Bottom line, the benefits and advantages for them are just too much. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.
Joe Girard is the greatest salesperson in the world. Indeed, the greatest salesperson of all time. The story of his life is very inspirational. Girard is the son of Antonino Girardi, an extremely poor man of Sicilian birth. Girard worked from early childhood on. A high school dropout, he started working as a shoeshine boy. Then he worked as a newsboy for the Detroit Free Press at the age of 9, and then as a dishwasher, delivery boy, stove assembler, and home building contractor. The then 35-year-old walked into a Detroit car dealership and begged a skeptical manager for a job as a salesman. He was flat broke and had left behind a hungry family waiting for groceries. Luckily, he sold his first car on his first day, and so his family did not sleep hungry. But it was very hard work in those early days. You see, the manager who finally hired him at first said no. The walk-in traffic was just enough for the current salesman. It was only when Girard said he would generate his own leads that he was hired. But he quickly found that selling without access to the walk-in traffic was more difficult than he had imagined. The first thing he did was grab a phone book and started calling people randomly. He made some headway. But it was tough slogging. But it wasn't long before he figured out the system that made him the undisputed greatest salesman of all time. Let us take a quick look at the astonishing statistics Girard achieved in sales. In total, he sold more than 13,000 vehicles. That's an average of 6 cars per day. On his best day, he sold 18 vehicles. His best month, he sold 174. In his best year, he sold 1,425. That's a lot of cars, and they are not priced like candy for sure. By himself, Joe Girard has sold more cars than 95% of all dealers in North America. To make his feat even more incredible, he sold them at retail, one vehicle at a time. Clearly, any business that can learn his secret will revolutionize their sales figures. And any salesperson who masters his technique will get rich on commissions. So, what was his big secret? It is really very simple. He developed a system, or a process. To put it in his own words, this is what the greatest salesman of all time says. Professional salespeople understand the power of having a series of repeatable best practices. Take the time to look at every step in your sales process and see what works and doesn't work. Your goal is not the big win, but instead daily habits that lead to weekly activities, monthly results, with quarterly themes that fill a yearly strategy. Each step counts. Sounds easy. That is until you have to figure out the creative steps that will work best in your kind of business. Fortunately, there is an easy way out. And it is all in the amazing ebook How to Get Plenty of Customers Right Away. The ebook gives you the most creative and time-tested steps that will work best. More so in our modern world choked by people trying to sell something. How to Get Plenty of Customers Right Away costs only $25. Or 2,500 Kenya shillings. Send a blank email now to the address you see on your screens and you will receive an instant automated response. It will contain full details and payment instructions. Don't postpone your sensational success, send that blank email now. Don't worry, you will not be put on any mailing list and you will never hear from us again. We value your privacy and we value the right way to be the greatest salesperson in the world. Send that blank email right away.